My God, to the picture. Let's find that. Hello, it's a live act tonight. Hello, I'm Bill. How are you? Like, oh, wanky, wanky, wanky. Is that what you want? Nah, of course you don't. I was just thinking tonight, actually. Because I thought it's my holiday this week. I've had flu all week. I've had flu for about 3 days. I'm just sort of getting over it. I'm Bill. Hello, I'm Bill. So I thought I'd do a live act. Why not? Do you remember live acts? Do you remember when we were born? What year were you born? I was born in 1966. I'm a 1966. That's what I call the movie, 1966. Do you remember when we were born in 1966? Yeah, Hatfield, actually. Actually, Paul Sellew. Is Paul Sellew still about? Paul Sellew. I went to school. I went to a school called Howdell School. Let's get straight to the point. Yeah, Paul Sellew. Are you still about, man? 48 years old now, man. We are. Me and Paul. I don't know if Paul, I hope Paul's still about. So I hope Paul Sellew is still about. 1998 now, isn't it, man? Paul Sellew. It's 1998, yeah. We were born in 66. We went to Howdell School. Do you remember Howdell School in Hatfield, Paul? This is for Paul Sellew. If you're still about, I hope so. I don't know if you'll ever find this. Do you remember Howdell School? We were in the same class for about fucking God knows how many years. We went to Hatfield School as well, didn't we? But you were in a different class at Hatfield School. But anyway, yeah. Do you remember 1994? This is for Paul Sellew. Paul Sellew. We went to school together. And Dan Barnes was there as well. You, me and Dan Barnes was in the same class from it. Some other people. Howdell, do you remember Howdell School? But actually, Paul Sellew. This is for Paul Sellew. Last time I saw Paul Sellew, I hope he's still alive. I fucking hope so. My generation, man. I'm talking about my generation. My generation. Paul Sellew. Are you still about? I hope so. Howdell School. Cool. Do you remember 1994? That's when I met Paul Sellew last. I hadn't seen him for a few years, you know. And last time I met Paul Sellew was 1994. That was 1994. We went on this march to lower the age of consent. It was 1994. John Major was actually Prime Minister, actually. Actually, John Major was the Prime Minister in 1994. No, actually, in 1994, John Major, Conservative, actually, he was the Prime Minister. You see, John Major was the Prime Minister in 1994. But we went on this march to lower the age of consent from 21 down to 18. Actually, me and Paul Sellew, we were both on this march. We were both on the march. Charge the Light Brigade. It was 20 years ago, Paul. Said Paul, it was the Charge the Light Brigade. That was 20 years ago, Paul. Are you still alive? Paul Sellew. Paul Sellew, are you still alive? That was 1994. That was 20 years ago, Paul. We've been on this trip since we were born. Paul Sellew. We were in the same fucking primary school and secondary school together. Right? We've been on this trip for fucking 48 years now. Really. 48 years. Oh, that's another time to go about that anyway. Do you remember the Charge the Light Brigade? It was in fact the night that Derek Jarman died. It was the night that Derek Jarman died. Long before I had a video camera. Long before I had a video camera. I didn't get a video camera until 98. But do you remember 1994? Charge the Light Brigade, Paul. Half of us were dying of fucking AIDS, HIV. Half of us were fucking dying of AIDS, and the other half of us were still fighting. Paul, Charge the Light Brigade, 20 years ago, Paul. said Paul Salute, the charge of the Light Brigade, man. The charge of the Light Brigade, trying to lower the age of consent down to 16. We got it lowered down to 18. It was John Major. It was actually John Major who lowered the age of consent from 21 down to 18. So I suppose John Major lowered the age of consent down to 18, you see. He did. He did lower the age of consent by 3 years down to 18. That was in 1994, wasn't it, Paul? That's for Paul Salute. It was in fact the night that Derek Jarman died, wasn't it, Paul? We were both on the march. I'm Bill. You know Bill. Paul Salute and me. We both went up to school together, Howdale School together for the very first fucking year, man. You know what I mean, man? Since we were 5 years old, actually. But Paul Salute and me, we both went on this march in 1994. And it was, we got it, the age of consent lowered down to 18. But it was also the night that Derek Jarman died, Paul. It's for Paul Salute. You remember that march? 1994. Trying to lower the age of consent. Derek Jarman died that night, didn't he? Paul? Isn't it true? Derek Jarman died the same night. Blue. Paul. Derek Jarman died exactly the same night. Because it came on the headphones, didn't it? It came on the loudspeakers after the march, right? After the march in 1994. It was quite spooky, really. It was a bit of a ghost story, Paul. A bit of a ghost story. We went on this march to lower the age of consent down to 18. Down to 16, sorry. But they actually lowered it down to 18. That was under John Major, you see. I think Tony Blair just carried on from that. But that's the very same night, Paul. Derek Jarman died the same night, didn't he? Said Paul Salute. Derek Jarman died the same night, you see. I ain't got it on video, obviously, you know. But Derek Jarman died the same night. And it was on the loudspeakers, right? It was on the loudspeakers after the march or something that said that, sort of like, okay, we've got the age of consent lowered down to 18. And by the way, Derek Jarman has just died tonight. Wings of an Angel, Paul. I said, Paul. Wings of an Angel, man. It was the very same night. Because I hadn't seen Paul for about 20 years, like, you know. I met him again. Paul Salute. I went to school with Paul Salute. Lovely bloke. Paul Salute, lovely bloke. He's actually got a dance group going. I think he's got some dance. I know, choir. No, I think actually last time I spoke to Paul Salute. So last time I spoke to Paul Salute, he was having a choir, a singing choir. I'd love to hear, man. I'd love to look it up on the YouTube, man, if you're still about. I'm going to have to call it Paul Salute. I've got this video, Paul Salute, because you're a very good friend of mine since the beginning, man. Since we first started fucking school. We went this march together, you know, to lower the age of consent down to 16. Got lowered from 21 down to 18. That was in the year 1994. Anyway, do you remember the Spotted Bull? Is Stephanie still about? I wonder if Stephanie is still about. Does anybody remember 1991? Was it 91? Yeah, 91 I came back, yeah. 91 and 1992. Spotted Bull. Oh my God. Tales I could tell from the Spotted Bull. I wonder if Stephanie's still alive. Anyway, that's film from Paul Salute. I said, like, thanks, man. I hope you're okay, Paul. Just Bill. I don't need your webcam address or whatever. So it's this Bill saying hi to Paul. Paul Salute. He's still got the choir going. I hope so. So anyway, I'm going to finish the camera. Oh, they still look quite sick. It's not bad for 48, Paul. I mean, you have to admit, we're 48 years old now. Paul Salute. This is specifically for Paul Salute. You remember the night that Derek Jarman died? Wasn't it? You know, do you remember the night that Derek Jarman died? 1994. For Paul Salute. We went on this march. We went on this march to lower the age of consent from 21 down to 16, but I lowered it down to 18. I was just saying, hello, Paul Salute. I hope you're still with us, man. Let's finish. Right, stop it now. Whoa, don't want to lose them.